Well, hello everybody and welcome to Assembly. Welcome also back to school, although of course we're almost a week in now. I really hope you and your families had a fantastic break over half term. I'm going to start this week with some sports notices, and on Wednesday we continued with our house sports programme with plenty of competitive activity all across the campus. So well done and thank you to everyone who was involved, with the results going towards an overall house trophy which will be presented at the end of term. So Wednesday's events of this week were Upper Sixth Volleyball and Touch Rugby, and third and fourth form cross country. The results were as follows. For the Upper Sixth Volleyball, in fourth place was The Grove, in third The Rise, second Clifton, and in first place was Schoolhouse. Well done. Upper Sixth Touch Rugby, fourth place Hope, third Temple, second place School, and first place on this occasion was The Manor. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm of course recording this on Thursday, and in the absence of Manor doing their usual boisterous round of applause, they're all walking around wearing house ties. So many congratulations to Manor. Cross country in the third form, fourth place went to Clifton, third place to Queen's, second place Hope, and in first were Temple. And in the fourth form cross country, fourth equal was Hope and The Grove. Third equal was Manor and Linton, second was School, and doing the double in first place was Temple. So very well done to third and fourth form runners in Temple. And the individual winners for the fourth form was Freddie Brooke and Minnie Axon, and in the third form, Tom Dennis, with a tie between Tilly Holt and Hattie Hennebury. And this Saturday there will be fourth form hockey and touch rugby in-house competition. So looking forward to that, and good luck to all involved. In other notices, so the Mission Discovery Summer School 2021. First of all, well done. I know there's been a number of applications already gone in, but any pupils who would like to apply for selection to the Mission Discovery Summer School, please complete the online application forms as soon as you possibly can. That form, just to remind you, is available via a QR code on the posters in the third and fourth form bubble zones and on the email that you've received from Mr. Parr. Just a reminder, the summer school is an excellent opportunity to find out firsthand from NASA astronauts and engineers about travelling into space. And you would be designing an experiment with a team of other pupils, with the winning design being carried by astronauts to the International Space Station. So a very exciting opportunity indeed. It's very kind of being funded by an old Peterite, and places are limited, so open only to third and fourth form pupils with a minimum age of 14 years old on the 12th of July 2021. So please do contact Mr. Parr or Mr. Edwards for further details. Debating, and I really enjoyed popping in and seeing some third form and fourth form debating earlier in the week. So the Debating Society has returned from half term in full voice, says Miss Lenardi, and has the fourth form inter-house debating competition continuing this week, with the fifth form inter-house starting next week. So listen out for notices in your tutor groups. Remembrance Day, very important day in the calendar. So just to let you know, plans are being put in place for the whole school to gather outside and with full social distancing within and between year group bubbles next Wednesday the 11th of November for us to mark Remembrance Day at 11 a.m. It's a very important event in the school calendar as well as in the national calendar, and further details will be coming around shortly. Now, it's obviously been more difficult this year for the British Legion to raise money for their incredible work through the selling of poppies, but boxes are now in school and available in bubble zones and in other areas. So please make sure that you take the time to get your poppy sorted. You can also support the British Legion, by the way, by downloading a poppy poster to display in windows, either at school or at home, whilst making a small donation, and there's a link to that on their website. And finally, we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defence, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Well, famous words and well known to many of you, I'm sure. And that begins the Constitution of the US, signed on September the 17th, 1787. The governing instrument for a new and young nation to live and work in harmony and for the common good. It was written after the War of Independence secured freedom from Great Britain, an event that some on this side of the pond will refer to more commonly by its other name of the War of a Revolution, signifying that to one side it was for independence, to the other side a revolt against British power. And for a really fascinating look at that period of history, and a great fun one too, if you haven't seen the musical Hamilton yet, it draws extensively on hip-hop, rap and R&B, as well as dance. I urge you to do so. It's available currently on a very well-known streaming service. Others are, of course, available. It's a great opportunity also to see the notion that society and culture move in paradigm shifts as much as through incremental change. For it's no accident that the revolution in America happened within a few years of the French Revolution and the overthrow of their monarchy in 1789. Our school, of course, is no stranger to revolutionary ideas either, with the day I'm recording this, so November the 5th, marking the 405th anniversary this year of the Gunpowder Plot, when, of course, a former pupil of St Peter's, Guy Fawkes, was discovered beneath the Houses of Parliament preparing to blow up James I in an effort to end the persecution of Roman Catholics by the English government. So, no fireworks, no Yorkshire Park in Sadley at school this year, although still a day for us to remember one of our most famous or infamous alumni. When the US Constitution says, "we the people," it raises the question as to who was exactly meant by we. Not, it would seem, the First Nations people or Native Americans, and nor indeed slaves, although most of the northern states had passed laws abolishing slavery during the War of Independence. This was not the case in the South, and slavery was the most contentious issue in the drafting of the Constitution. And while the authors of the Constitution never used the word slavery itself, the final document gave slave owners disproportionate political power. And today, Friday the 6th of November, marks the 160th anniversary of the election of Abraham Lincoln as president in 1860, and widely regarded as one of the finest American presidents. He won on an electoral platform for the abolition of slavery, which in turn led to the American Civil War, South and North fighting each other over the issue of slavery. That war ended in June 1865, and following the surrender of the South came the end of slavery in a document called the Emancipation Proclamation, which was enforced, and legally the last remaining slaves were freed on December the 18th, 1865. Well, the legacy of slavery and colonialism, of course, didn't end with those events, and the ongoing impacts of issues of colonialism and race continue to be present today. And nor indeed, of course, is that in any way confined to the United States, as the global Black Lives Matter movement and other campaigns show. There remains a very great deal of work and education to be done here in the UK as well. Well, this was one of the many strands in the recent US presidential elections, along with coronavirus, healthcare, the economy and abortion, and it's become the pattern in politics around the world. The debates and rhetorics have largely become polarised between the competing parties. The days of centre-left and centre-right competing for power seem to have been replaced more by hard-right and hard-left, though, of course, it's always right to be wary of generalisations. And the language of politics seems to have become more simplistic as well. For example, Donald Trump referred in speeches and tweets to different groups using the word "the," as in the gays and the women, implying that society is somehow split into segregated groups. One of Abraham Lincoln's strategies was to include people in his administration who had actually opposed him in the presidential election, as described by Doris Kearns Wilson in her 2005 book, Team of Rivals. And by bringing his opponents into government, he sought to gain the greatest possible consensus for his policies, and chiefly the abolition of slavery. This week, Trump has been challenging the counting of postal votes, and such events are not unprecedented. In the 2000 election, the result was not confirmed until a full month after the election, including appeals that went to the Supreme Court. And then, one of the challenges centred on the voting system in Florida, where a hole punch was used to indicate the vote on the ballot paper. In many cases, the hole punch didn't fully sever the circle of paper, and it was left connected by a tiny strand. As a consequence, many of us learned that the circle of paper cut out by a hole punch is called a chad. And the question as to whether a voting paper with a so-called hanging chad could be counted as a proper vote became of significant consequence to the outcome of what was a very tightly fought election. It was virtually impossible to see either a Trump or a Biden administration bringing in the most able of their rivals into government, and we, the people, could sound increasingly like those I agree with and those who agree with me. As for us, fortunately, the onset of a new lockdown does not look to have any significant implications for what we're doing here at school. And I can't tell you how impressed and proud I am for all of you, for the energy, the positivity and the enthusiasm that you're bringing to our daily lives. We, the Peterites, seem to be responding really well to all the challenges and change around us. So, as ever, stay safe, go well, crack on, and have a brilliant second half of term.